Hi everyone, we are meeting again. Great to see you here. Now we are meeting in this new channel called Ruchira in Between. We'll take a little bit of a casual note, as you can see, a little bit of a different format, different language. Nonetheless, same old nonsense. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about capitalism, not from a political standpoint, not from a emotional point of view. When we talk about capitalism, Marxism, socialism, people get emotional quite a lot. Not in that aspect, but today we're going to take it from a much more structural point of view. Yeah. Well, I think I have 10 minutes. Everyone else is running around, getting prepared to go to the market. Here I am. So I got a bit early. I got prepared. Here I am, calm and overthinking about capitalism. You see, we go to buy bread and various other commodities. I just go there and buy stuff when we can explain why these commodities exist in the market in the first place. Okay, so that's probably the objective today. Capitalism from a structural point of view. Obviously, this is coming from Karl Marx. I did a video previously about Karl Marx and his philosophy, the most essentials of it. Then I thought, why wouldn't I really extend the discussion, because I've been reading quite a lot about Marxism and socialism, and everything is now very well structured in my head. I just want to spell it out. Let me take an example. Everybody's taking the bread and the bakery example. I would do the same. Okay. Imagine a bakery. Okay. Imagine a bakery operation. At a first glance, it looks very simple, right? The bread is being baked, people are fed, money is being made, wages are paid. Everything is very simple, very general operation in our society. But Karl Marx had a much more deeper question. He thought about, where does the value come from and who captures it? So that, I think, is the main essence and how he constructed his criticism about capitalism. Now, before we start, we need to understand what is a value. What is the value of a good? What is the value of a commodity? According to Karl Marx, a loaf of bread has two main values, what we call use value or intrinsic value. Loaf of bread can feed people, it satisfies hunger, right? So that in a very general and a universal aspect, that is the main value of a loaf of bread. Yeah, so it satisfies hunger. But in a capital system, you see, the use value is not the main concern. So what really matters in a capital system, which I'll get into in a moment, is what we call exchange value. How much money that bread can be sold for in a market. That's the whole idea of, that's the value. In the capitalist system, loaf of bread has what we call exchange value. Everybody is, running behind this value. Hungry person needs a bread. That's the whole idea. But then a capitalist system, capitalists need profit. So there's this contrast of interest that he identified early on. That's happening in a very fundamental sense. There's this contrast. Okay, let us go into the production. To run a bakery, owner has to invest two things. Now, Karl Marx had two specific names for this. The first thing is called constant capital. Constant capital, according to Karl Marx, is what if you look at bakery, there are ovens, mixtures, electricity has to be put in, raw material, flour, yeast, all the stuff that goes into the bread. Yeah, that's what's encapsulated in a loaf of bread. But if you really look at it, they do not create, these items will not create a value. I mean, just simply because you have flour, laying on the floor, it doesn't make a loaf of bread. What creates value is something called variable capital. Okay, so the people has to get involved in the whole process. So the bread has to be mixed and baked and cut into pieces, distribute and sold, and all that value is really created by who we call laborers. So only labor creates the value. Let me get into number, very simple calculation. Imagine you see, suppose there's a small bakery producing bread. Okay, to run this bakery, suppose the owner invests, per bread, let's say, in terms of constant capital, owner invests, let's say, 100 rupees. Okay, in stuff like flour, electricity, yeast, or whatever, the machinery, the wear and tear of the machinery, everything except labor. Let's say he dedicated 100 rupees. So that 100 rupees goes into the production. See, what's the key point here is that constant capital will not produce new value. As it seems, you can see the machines are there, the flour is there, the yeast is there, but it is not going to mix itself, right? So somebody has to create the value. It only transfers. It just it projects its value to the loaf of bread, but it's not really creating the value. Now comes the labor. The baker hires, let's say, the bakery owner hires a person, a laborer, and suppose we pay the laborer 50 rupees per day, or let's say per bread, and this is called variable capital. Why variable? Because the labor, if you take in a system, has a very unique property. It creates, that's what it is. In a capitalist system, laborer create more value than it costs. Okay. Now so let me get into the numbers again. Let's see what happens in one day, using 100 rupees on constant capital and 50 rupees on variable capital. Suppose the worker produce bread that can be sold, let's say 200 rupees in the market. Okay, so if you do the math, the total cost for the production, so the whole value creation of a loaf of bread, it costs 100 rupees, 50 rupees at 150 rupees, right? However, the exchange has been made at 200 rupees. So where did the extra 50 rupees come from? Obviously, you can see it's not coming from the machines, not from the floor. Everything is dedicated, right? Initially, for the constant capital, all these values have been dedicated, not from the electricity. It came from labor. See, the worker may have produced a bread worth 200 rupees in, let's say, 8-hour day, but he's only paid 50 rupees. I understand how some of you may be feeling, but just stay with me. This is according to Karl Marx. I'm not for him, I'm not against him, just laying out what he taught. Okay, this 50 rupees, the extra 50 rupees, is called surplus value. Very important number. And who takes this surplus? obviously the laborer is not going to take it. The capitalist food. This is the core of Karl Marx's argument. Profit comes from unpaid labor. we are used to this system, and we think it's very fair. But at least for Karl Marx, and many other socialists and Marxists, there's a fundamental problem there. So the worker might work 8 hours a day, but the value of their wage may be produced in, let's say, 4 hours. So the remaining 4 hours creates extra value. Okay, so that's value. That extra value is what called the surplus value. And who takes it? Obviously not the worker or the laborer, the capitalist. So this is the foundation of in capitalism. Okay, so that I think it's in a sense that's what his argument is. Now, okay, now this is the critical point. See, you see, in a capitalism, the main contrast is this. The bakery does not exist primarily to feed people. Although it makes bread, it does not exist primarily to feed people. If that were the goal, bread wouldn't be made based on the need. Yes. Instead, bread is made based on profitability. If people are hungry and they're starving, but can't pay, there are people who are hungry but they can't afford the bread, the bakery does not expand the production. If bread doesn't sell fast enough, it's thrown away. I mean, even while people starve. At least in his time, this is quite true. I mean, this must have happened in the communities the Karl Marx lived in. See, why? What is the problem? So there are people who are starving, but still they cannot afford it. You just have the food thrown away. This is very unfair. See, the why? The problem is the capitalism is not a system designed around human needs. It is a system designed around capital accumulation. This is in no way to claim that a capitalist is immoral by choice. According to Karl Marx, the problem is in the system. He is trapped in the system. If he lowers prices too much, he will obviously lose profit, right? If he raises wages too much, he loses competitiveness. So you can see from both sides, he's trapped. It's not that the capitalist baker is immoral. If he produces for need instead of market demand, you can clearly see he goes bankrupt. So you can see from his point of view, Marx's critique is not about people. It's not about people. It's about a system where profit overrides purpose. Right, I think that came beautifully. It's about a system where profit overrides purpose. And at least from Karl Marx's point of view, this is capitalism. Thank you very much. We are still not ready, but then thank you very much for being with me in this video.